Louis,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So tell me about your fits. What are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Today I'm wearing a Rick Owens jumper, a Dries Van Noten sweater, pants that I created myself, and Margiela tabbies.
You created those?
Yes, I made them myself.
You're a designer?
No, but I like to make things from time to time, so I was like, maybe I need some pairs of pants and decided to sew some. So yeah.
Have you always loved sewing?
No, I hated sewing.
Really?
It was the worst experience ever because I could never wrap my head around like how to sew properly or how to do even like the basic patterns. Like I could never do it. So these were just some alterations, I guess, like just on the knees. Happy with that. So yeah.
What are you doing now? Are you studying?
Yes, I am studying. I do fashion design management at Polimoda. It's
How,
my first year.
how do you find it?
I find it okay. I mean, I'm enjoying the course and like I love the people that I'm around, and I'm a big people person, so I love to talk a lot. And yeah,
Tell me about your necklace.
my necklace. Oh, my necklaces are chrome hearts. I bought them in London, and it was nice. Big purchase, big boy purchase, I would say. But yeah, it's great.
So who's your inspiration in fashion? Where do you draw your inspiration?
Me personally, I like to draw my inspiration from my parents, I think. My mother specifically, she was really big on fashion growing up. And she kind of allowed me to pursue fashion as a course in uni. My dad was very against it though. My mother was very for it. She's very artistic and she kind of drives me to do better and, like completely grasp all of my passions. So yeah.
Are you close with your mother?
I'm very close with my mother. She's like my biggest inspiration ever, and she's so sweet. And I guess I connect with her more because she fits more in with my background. With that being said, I am half Italian and half Filipino, and I grew up in Dubai, but I always kind of associate myself with the Filipino side more. I think because of the fact that I was adopted from there.
Wow.
So yeah.
What age were you adopted?
When I was just born, I was 6 months old. Well, not really just born, but like 6 months old, and I was found inside of a push cart by a couple of nuns, and I went to an orphanage that was run by nuns, and I was there for a while until my parents were like, "Hey, we're looking for a kid," so yeah.
Are you close with your dad?
In some way, yes, I would say. I think I never fully connected because I don't really, understand that part of Italy that he so wants me to understand. I guess there's kind of like some strength to being adopted when it comes to, understanding another culture, being part of it, but obviously there's also a sense of poignancy. Like with him, the emotional attachment was not really there, but also that like togetherness I felt from him, I guess, like was still present, but I never fully connected.
So, as someone that's adopted, do you feel like there's always a piece of you that doesn't feel like you belong?
I would say at times yes, because like I feel like I should be more appreciative, I should be more grateful, but I don't really think I show that. And at times it kind of makes me think about my belonging and where I stand like within my family or my position in my family. I mean, there's always like reoccurring thoughts in my head that like I never truly feel like I deserve to be with them because of how much I feel like I'm taking advantage of the fact that I was adopted by them, if that makes sense.
Does someone make you feel that way?
I think at first it was my parents, but also it was also very personal to me. I think I would always use the excuse of, why would you adopt me if you don't really want to take care of me? And I would say that kind of stuff straight to their face. And it was a very emotional and hard time for me when they told me I was adopted. I think that's when it really truly started. They told me when I was 12 years old.
Wow, it's not young, but it's not old either. I think it's exactly the point in your life where you're perceiving the world and you're starting to develop your own way of thinking and your personality in a very individual way.
Definitely. I think like there are some ups and downs, but I guess emotionally, it's the most impactful thing that has happened to me. There's always that like reoccurring thought that there's so many people out there, and well, for me in the Philippines, and any of those people could be my mother, and I can never really describe that feeling of emptiness, knowing that something is so close yet so far away, and that you never, you never truly, you never truly are able to grasp it. Like it's not tangible. It's something that's just there, that just exists, and you have to live with that thought for the rest of your life until you die. But yeah, it
So
is.
it's like a longing.
It's definitely a longing. I think it's a longing to be appreciated, and I think that's why like most of the time I tend to try and um, get attention from things that I don't really truly want to get attention for, but I still do it because I feel like I deserve it.
Do you feel fashion is your armor?
Mm, I wouldn't say that fashion is my armor, but I think understanding the designer and the process that they went through personally kind of makes me want to wear those pieces and makes me want to understand, like why they chose a certain fabric, why they chose a certain design. Things like that inspire me to choose what I want to wear.
But in terms of seeking attention, do you think that can involve fashion?
Definitely. I think some pieces, like, they tend to make someone look at you, and like when you feel appreciated or when you feel a certain way, it kind of boosts your ego. And I love the energy that it brings. Like people come up to you, start conversations, and I think it's just something that is very basic, but not a lot of people think about when it comes to dressing up.
Yeah, because you feel chosen.
Exactly, yeah. It's like someone looks at you and they're like, "Oh my God, like I choose you." Like, oh, like what I mean, it's like Pokemon. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to be around you.
It's interesting because our childhoods really do reflect uh, on who we are today,
Mhm.
and your desire to be chosen stems from a longing of not fully being chosen by your birth mother.
Mhm.
And I think there's just that desire to be worthy, so you seek the worthiness.
I think I do, honestly. And the thing is, like when they were telling me the story about how I was left behind, it kind of was very heavy on me because she just left me in a car. It wasn't like, so in my head I'm thinking, was this on purpose? Was this something that she left me like somewhere where I wanted to be discovered? Like I never know. There's so many questions and like I can never answer them or have them answered.
So, to get through these thoughts, because you've dealt with a loss, this is a loss, and to get through this feeling of a ghost, do you turn to anything like religion?
With me, religion is definitely a complexity. I think it's because, again, of my mother. I mean, she's a really big inspiration to me. However, she just shoved Catholicism down my throat. Like, for maybe from middle school to high school, from when I was 8 until like 16, it was just Bible school and trying to, you know, force religion onto me. And for me personally, I never really accepted it because I was a knowledgeable kid. Like, I understood how religion could have its positives and negatives, and I could also see more of the negatives because of, you know, just learning on my own and trying to grasp concepts on my own and realizing why things are wrong and things are right.
So do you are you Catholic?
Well, I don't really believe in anything as of now. I think I'm more agnostic and I'm open to learning more. I've explored a lot of religions as well, but nothing sits right with me.
So how do you deal with the thoughts of your birth mother with the questions, what you would want to ask?
Well, I usually kind of reflect on these questions and kind of see how she would answer them, picture them from her point of view, and try to understand what she could say based on what my mother would tell me and kind of twist the words and manipulate them into things that I wanted to hear. But I never really got, you know, full answers, so it's still something that's really heavy on my heart and on my mind as well.
Are you angry?
I think I'm more angry at my birth father, if anything. I think I blame him a lot, but again, I also blame my birth mother because the place where I was raised, that orphanage was only meant for kids that were mixed race. And so they told me that I had possible German ancestry, but I don't truly believe that because, I mean, look at me. But that's what they say, so I don't know. And that's, you know, a big reason why I have so many questions. It's like there's so much unknown and so much that I could learn about, and but also like there's just so many things that I don't want to learn as well, like that part about my birth father.
So would you say you're angry at God?
If God did exist, I would definitely be angry at God, I think. Because in my mind, it's like, if he has the power to control everything, why would he bring so much sadness or anxiety to people that are just constantly longing to know things? Like, if I pray, then what happens? Like, what do I learn? What do I know? Nothing.
But you have your parents now. Isn't that a blessing?
I would say it's a blessing, but also, in a way, it's not. Because I feel like all the hardships that they've gone through have been because of me, and because of that I feel like i I could try to be a better son. However, I don't think that's something that I can change anymore.
But they choose you. That's what you need to know is they choose you. And that's love.
But is it though? Because there's always that question as well that I ask myself, like, why didn't they choose someone else? Like, you know like, why didn't they choose another kid? Why didn't they choose a girl? Why didn't they choose an older son? Like,
Because
why
it's
didn't they choose
God's
someone else?
plan.
Well, if God was real, then it would be his plan. But yeah.
I think there's questions that you know we'll never get answers to. And there's always a balance between knowing, not knowing, good, evil, like, but to recognize that they choose you is very healing, and to see that you're worthy of that choice.
But then it's like, why did my birth mother choose me? Why didn't she want me? I mean, like I said, like maybe thoughts in my head, like was there something wrong with me? Did was I the cause of her pain? Was I the cause of her regret? I think about it a lot, and I think about how much, I'm loved by one family, but by another, I caused so much pain, maybe, so much hurt.
Maybe she doesn't have a choice. Maybe she was forced.
I don't know. I don't think she was forced in any way. I think it was more of like, I mean, there's a lot like societal things that were going on at the time, and like, but I wouldn't say she was necessarily forced to just, leave me.
So this was your first heartbreak.
Definitely. I would call it that.
Have you been through others?
Yes. I think my first heartbreak was more with myself because at a point in time, like I was very unapproachable, very unsociable, and I think that made people's perceptions of me very bad. And I guess because of that, my relationships with people became more about trying to make them like me. And I think because of that, it led to a lot of complications with others.
So, what do you identify as what's your sexuality?
I would say it's all open. I would say it doesn't matter. I'm into anyone.
What do you think of crying? Do you think it's weakness?
I think crying is definitely a strength and not a weakness. I think it helps you grow, and I think it's important because to have all of those emotions inside, like, it's not great. And growing up, like the fact that I had the ability to cry was so important because I know a lot of people were like raised tough and they were not allowed to cry, not allowed to show emotion. And for me, like being super vulnerable with myself and and my parents knowing that I can be vulnerable with myself was super important. Um, and yeah, I think crying lets out all of those emotions that are inside of you.
So, when you feel pain, do you cry? Do you get angry? How do you deal with it?
When I feel pain, I most of the time I feel like very sharp pain went through my heart, and that causes me to cry. And I think knowing that like I've done something to someone or done something to myself that I deeply regret and I can't change that, then I feel like crying.
And do you feel better after you cry?
Definitely. It takes all of that tense emotion, just lets it out, and it doesn't matter like the way you let out your emotions, but in my opinion, crying has been the best.
So, what would you say to the men who believe crying is weakness?
I would say at first I viewed it as that, but as you get older, you're gonna regret not being able to show those emotions, because then you get complications with personal relationships, with friendships, with people that you love, and I think that inevitably drives you away from them because you can't explain your emotions, you can't fully grasp those emotions.
Yeah, I love that. What would you say to your younger self if you could talk to him right now?
I would say it does definitely get better, and that you just have to have more patience and to think more clearly. And you will run into a bunch of people that you never really liked, and when that happens, you just need to know how to not accept things and to be more true to yourself and to stand your ground. That's all.